Our sportsNOLA.com trivia question of the evening. The Saints played their first regular season game at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. They played at RCA previously, as you know. Of the 31 stadiums currently in use by NFL teams, how many have the Saints not played in? The correct answer, ladies and gentlemen, 2. And there you go. The 49ers, Levi Stadium, and of course, TCF Bank Stadium, the Vikings. The Vikings are transitioning from the now defunct Metrodome to their brand new stadium, which has already been awarded a Super Bowl. So that's the reason. If you had to, you got it right. We were fortunate enough to get it right on this panel. It is time now for our hot seat segment, where we place Brian Ellie Walsh on the hot seat with a hot topic of the day. The NBA season is getting started. The New Orleans Pelicans open their 2015-2016 season at Golden State against the defending world champion Warriors Tuesday night. Then it's on to Portland on Wednesday. Then they come home to open against Golden State Saturday night. Trick or treat at Smoothie King Center. New scoreboard and all. What a way to open the season. The Warriors twice in 3 games, and at Portland, who's always tough in the very tough Western Conference. Hot seat topic of the day. Will the Pelicans make the playoffs again this season, and how far will they progress if in fact they do make the playoffs? 2-tiered question, appropriate. Brian Ellie Walsh has the answer. Brian?
Dr. Trahan, always a pleasure. To begin with, you look at the Pelicans, and if ever this saying could be true, it is in this case. The Pelicans are limping into the start of the regular season. They have as many as 8 players, 6 to 8 players that are injured that you're not going to see for a while. And Tyreke Evans, of course, is the biggest loss. Drew Holiday is on a minute limit up until 18, 20 minutes for the, up until January. So when the Pelican team you see tomorrow night from Oracle Arena at Golden State, and by the way, they're lowering the championship banner that night. And I think it's also fitting that Steve Kerr has to sit out a while to recover from back surgery. Luke Walton's going to be replacing him in the interim basis. But the Pelicans, look, they've got 3 people that they can count on right now. AD, of course, he's going to be playing both 4 and 5. Hopefully he's going to be shooting a lot in Alvin Gentry's new up-tempo scheme. I like that aspect of it. So in cutting to this, they're going to stumble coming out of the gate, all right? And when you look at the other positions as well, when you've got Ashik is hurt, Ajink is hurt, Bobbitt's hurt, Norris Cole, ankle, Holiday, we mentioned him. So all of these guys, and then Tyreke Evans, the biggest loss. So when you do all that stuff, okay, Pelicans will make the playoffs and they won't go deep.
Well, I mean, I see Anthony Davis, and I think that he's ready to lead his team. And I mean, they got a good coach now, but I don't see where, that if they make the playoffs, they're just like any other team. Once you get there, you got a chance to go as far as the next team. But I like the Pelicans. I like what they're doing. They're building a good team over there.
I like the over-under. They had 45 wins last year. I think, when you look at, here's what I like about Alvin Gentry coming. They're going to get into the 2015 kind of NBA style of basketball. They're going to pick up the pace. They're going to get a heck of a lot more possession. They're going to move the ball. They're going to use AD the way he should be used in this league. And that's, heck, he can dribble drive. Right? He's going to be shooting a lot more three-pointers than he's ever done in his career, and that's Alvin Gentry kind of basketball, and I think the fans are going to love it.
Yeah, and I mean, and they already sold out a lot.
Yeah.
So I think that, all he got to do, he's a special cat, and I mean, and just to see him play, that's the reason why I go to the game, just to see AD. I don't worry about what they're going to do.
The one thing that concerns me a little bit is while these guys are on the mend, he's going to be getting a lot more minutes, all right? And he's missed 14 games in each of his first 3 seasons. So, you got to temper that. You can't overwear him while these other guys are getting healthy. But in order to, you can't get too far back in the race either with these guys injured. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how Alvin Gentry deals with his lineup.
Man, it's just his 3rd year. I mean, he can run all day and all night.
Well, he's going to need to.
He's going to need to. Anthony Davis is bigger. Anthony Davis is better. The whole concept of getting bigger was to be able to withstand the pounding. that he's taken, and therefore has caused him to miss a few games, as Ricky alluded to, over the first 2 years. He's worked on expanding his jump shot, and I think he'll be able to add that element too. He'll be better. He's improved every year. He's a special player and a special young man who will produce special results. But he can't do it by himself. He needs help. The Pelicans hired Alvin Gentry to play an up-tempo style. They hired him to give this team a different voice. They hired him because they thought they had the pieces in place to be a team that could contend for a championship. They made that very clear by making no significant changes on this roster whatsoever. They brought in Kendall Perkins. He's going to have to play more early on because of the injuries to Ashik and Ajinça. Perkins is a role filler. He's a tough guy. He's an enforcer. He's here to give them a veteran presence and to protect Anthony Davis. He'll be called on early. Ajinça, Ashik, we'll see about those injuries. Brian did not mention Quincy Bondexter, who's still recovering from knee surgery. Luke Babbitt, he did mention, of course. Norris Cole, still recovering. That's an important piece to the puzzle as well. Drew Holiday, limited to 15 minutes a game. That's an incredible number of guys to be banged up starting a season. So with that, they've got to tread water, basically, for the first month or two and get to the turn of the year at least 500. If they do, they'll be fine and they'll be able to make a run. But they gambled on keeping the band together and simply changing the conductor, thinking that the conductor could produce a different tune with the same instruments. The question is the sound going to be different or is it going to be the same? Pelicans fans are banking on it being a sweet tune. I'm not so sure it will be. I like Alvin Gentry. I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't know that they'll progress further than they did last year. How can I, based upon what I've seen and based upon the injuries that continue to be so prevalent with this organization? When we return, college football and high school football as Sports NOLA TV continues.